you're looking to dive into topics on how to live a happier, healthier, more fit, and long lifespan, then you've come to the right podcast. Living the Dream with me, Coach Damian Evans. Together, we will explore the topics on all things health, fitness, and wellness. Together, we will be lifelong learners on this journey to living the ultimate dream. What up, Dream Team? Coach D here, coming at you from beautiful sunny San Diego, and welcome back to the Living the Dream podcast. And today, we're going to kickstart your week off with the right mindset to conquer your goals and to live your dream life. And over the past few months, we've been going through some pretty major changes at our studio over in Del Mar, California. We've revamped parts of the business. We've been hiring new coaches, training them, onboarding them, building new systems, and just trying to make sure that as Sweat Circuit continues growing, we protect the things that make it special. And throughout that process, I've been thinking a lot about culture. Because when you hire a coach at our gym, you're not teaching them exercises. They kind of know that already. You're teaching them what matters here at Sweat Circuit, how we welcome people, how we speak to members, the type of verbiage that we use, how we challenge someone without making them feel defeated, and how we modify movements without making people feel less capable. We're essentially teaching them how we create an environment where getting stronger feels exciting, supportive, and normal. And that made me realize something. When someone walks into our studio, they aren't only entering a room with a bunch of weights and machines and music and workout equipment. They're walking into an environment. And that environment starts influencing them before they ever complete their first repetition. The energy that they are greeted with matters. The energy in the room matters. The people surrounding them matters. The expectations, the coach, what everyone around them considers normal, all of that matters. Maybe a person spent years believing that exercise was not for them. And then they enter a place where people of different ages, different looking bodies, different ability levels are all training together. They see these same different people encouraging one another. They see coaches meeting people where they're at. They discover that strength training isn't reserved for athletes or for fitness fanatics. It's just simply what people do in this special place. And after spending enough time in that environment, something begins to change. Yeah, their body, but not only their body, their identity. After spending time in this environment, their identity changes. They begin thinking, maybe I'm someone who works out. Maybe I'm stronger than I thought. Maybe this is something that I can actually sustain. That transformation isn't created by willpower alone. The environment is helping. And that is what I want to explore with you all week long, because we spend so much of our time living lives trying to change ourselves, when sometimes the fastest way to change ourselves is to change what surrounds us. There's an old story that was made famous by writer David Foster Wallace. Two young fish are swimming through the water when they pass an older fish. The older fish greets the two young fish and asks, "Morning, boys. How's the water?" The two younger fish keep swimming. Then after a little while, one of the younger fish looks at the other and says, "What the hell is water?" This story isn't really about fish. It's about us. The things that surround us every day become almost invisible, precisely because they are always there. Our homes, our neighborhoods, our relationships, our workplaces, our phones, food, stress, our air, our routines, our social media feeds, the voices that we hear, and the standards that we accept, the behaviors everyone around us considers normal. All of that, plus so much more, that's our water. And most of us rarely stop long enough to ask, is this water helping me become healthier? Or is it quietly pulling me in the opposite direction? Here's the big idea for this week's topic. You are not shaped only by the choices that you make. You are also shaped by the choices your environment makes easy. You are not shaped only by the choices that you make, but you are also shaped by the choices that your environment makes easy. I want you to really sit with that, because we love telling people that success is all about personal responsibility. Just make better choices. Just be more disciplined. Develop more willpower. And come on, stop making excuses. And yes, don't get me wrong, personal responsibility, it absolutely matters. At some point, we all have to take ownership for our own actions. But behavior doesn't happen in a vacuum. Your choices happen inside this environment that you're living in. And that environment is always silently, just very nuancedly nudging you. Sometimes it's gently and sometimes it is aggressively. Sometimes it's so consistent that you don't even notice it anymore. But your environment is always coaching you. The question is, toward what? Imagine two genetically identical people. They have the same starting biology, they have the same age, the same basic potential. But one of them lives in an environment filled with clean air, access to whole foods, daily movement, supportive relationships, lots of sunlight, meaning and purpose, quiet nights, a safe place to sleep, clean drinking water, and a community where taking care of yourself is considered normal. That's one of them. Now, the other person, exactly identical, this person lives with air pollution, constant noise, chronic low-grade stress, social isolation, ultra-processed foods available all the time, everywhere, little access to safe outdoor space and sunlight, artificial lights late into the night, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., constant notifications, bings, tings, dings, terrible sleep, and a culture where exhaustion is worn like a badge of honor. Neither person necessarily notices their environment. To them, it's just simply their life. It's normal. But if you repeat those conditions for years and years, it becomes difficult to believe that their health and behavior and biology would look anywhere near the same. The water shapes the fish. Not all at once, just one tiny, small exposure at a time, one repeated choice at a time, one day at a time. And that's what makes environment so powerful. It doesn't have to completely overpower you today. It only has to nudge you slightly, repeatedly, for years. One notification probably doesn't change your brain, but hundreds of notifications every single day, that can reshape your attention. One night of staying up late, that's not going to really affect your health that much. But an environment that makes late night scrolling the default and staying up until the middle of the morning as the default, that can shape years of health and sleep. One ultra processed meal doesn't define your diet, but a kitchen where every convenient option comes out of a package with a bag or a barcode or a box, that will influence what you eat over time. One negative conversation may not change your personality, but years spent around constant cynicism and negativity, that can change what you believe is possible. Environment, it works quietly. It doesn't usually kick down the front door. It just slips in through repetition. One of the most useful ideas in behavioral science is that our actions are influenced by both who we are and the environment that we are in. Not only personality, not only motivation or discipline, but also environment. And the environment changes something incredibly important. It changes something called friction. Friction is the amount of resistance between you and an action. Let's say you want to work out tomorrow morning. If your workout clothes are buried in laundry, you haven't decided what workout you're going to do, your gym is a 25-minute drive away, you stayed up late, and no one is there expecting you to show up. Man, does that workout have a ton of friction. It doesn't mean that you aren't going to do it or that you can't do it. It means the environment that you're currently in is asking you to overcome multiple obstacles before the workout even begins. Now imagine you have a workout tomorrow, but your clothes are already laid out, ready to go. Your shoes are right by the door. The workout is written down and all planned. You have a class booked. The gym is 1 block away. And there's a friend texting you that morning, hey, I'll see you there in 20 minutes. Same workout, completely different environment, completely different amount of effort required to begin. We may look at the first person and say, oh my gosh, they lack so much discipline. Why can't they figure it out? And we might look at the second person and say, oh, they're just naturally consistent. But sometimes one person is simply swimming with the current while the other is fighting it every morning. This doesn't have to just be towards fitness either. This applies to nutrition too. Imagine walking into your kitchen hungry. On the counter, there's a bowl of fruit. In the refrigerator, there's prepared protein in Tupperware. There's washed produce and leftovers that can be heated in just 2 minutes. That environment is going to make one group of choices very easy. Now imagine a very different kitchen. The first thing you see on the countertop is candy, sweets, sugars. The pantry is full of processed snacks. Nothing nourishing is even moderately close to being ready to be prepared. Ordering delivery takes 3 taps on your phone. You have your favorite fast food place and your favorite order saved. Again, you can still make either choice. You can dig the protein out of the freezer. You can let it thaw. You can get the veggies all chopped and ready. But let's stop pretending that both of those environments require the same amount of discipline. Your kitchen begins influencing your meal before you consciously decide what you're going to eat. We can take this to sleep. The same things can happen with sleep. You tell yourself all day, tonight, I'm going to bed early. But if your phone charges right beside your pillow, your TV is on, the lights are bright, work messages are still coming in, your room is noisy and hot, your environment is sending a completely different message than tonight, I'm going to bed early. You're telling yourself to sleep. Your surroundings are telling your nervous system, hey, the day is not over. There's still so much going on. You cannot spend 16 hours signaling that everything is urgent in this high fight or flight state and then become peaceful simply because you put your head down on a pillow. And we have to talk about the digital environment. That really brings us towards this whole thing that we have just recently encountered, because this may be the water that we notice the least. Your phone is not just a tool. It's an environment that you carry around in your pocket. Every account that you follow, every headline that you read, every video you watch, every argument that you linger on, every notification that interrupts you, they all become inputs. And those inputs shape your thoughts. They shape your attention, your stress levels, your expectations, your view of your body, your view of success, your view of the world. You may think you're simply just scrolling, but your feed is training you. The algorithm notices what holds your attention and then shows you more of it. And what holds your attention? The scary stuff. The fights, the wars, the arguments. So your digital environment becomes partly shaped by what you repeatedly consume. If you spend your time watching outrage, drama, comparison, fear, your internal world begins taking on those qualities. But if you fill your feed with education, humor, health, nature, creativity, and people who inspire you, that also changes your water. That doesn't mean you're ignoring every difficult reality in the world. It means recognizing that your attention is one of the most valuable resources that you possess. You should be intentional about who and what gets access to your attention. And then there's your social environment. The people around us quietly establish our standards. We've all heard the quote, you are the average of the 5 people you hang around most. The people around us quietly establish our standards. What is normal? What is excessive? What is possible? What is embarrassing? And what is worth pursuing? If everyone around you drinks heavily every weekend, avoiding alcohol can feel unusual. If everyone around you trains, movement feels normal. If your closest friends constantly complain, optimism can start to feel naive and weird. But if your friends are curious, motivated, supportive, and willing to grow with a growth mindset, you begin rising towards those standards. This doesn't mean abandoning everyone who lives differently than you. It doesn't mean judging people who don't quite live the way that you're looking to live. What it means is understanding that relationships are biological and behavioral inputs. The people you spend time with will influence your nervous system. They will influence your habits. They will influence your beliefs and your vision of your future. Sometimes a strong community doesn't just support change. It makes change feel inevitable. There's a line from Winston Churchill that I think applies beautifully here. We shape our buildings, and thereafter they shape us. He was talking about architecture, but the idea reaches far beyond buildings and homes. I mean, we shape our homes, and then our homes shape our routines. Think about it. When you walk into your house, how is your environment set up in your home? I'm betting that it is set up to be habitually easy to do what you already do the most. Is your couch facing your TV? Is there exercise equipment around, or is it tucked away? Are there chairs everywhere so it's easy to sit, or are there no furniture so you have to be on the floor? We choose a gym, and then after we choose that gym, the gym shapes our relationship with fitness and movement. We choose our friends, and then those friendships influence our standards. We curate and create this digital feed, and then that feed shapes what occupies our mind, what we see as reality. We build routines, and then those routines begin building us. I love that one. We build routines, and then those routines begin building us. We first create the water, and then eventually the water begins creating us. Now, I want to add an important layer to this conversation. This message is not about blaming people for every part of their environment. Not everyone chose where they grew up. Not everyone can immediately leave a stressful job. Not everyone can move to a quieter neighborhood. Not everyone can afford the same food, gym, air filtration system, or wellness tools. Some people are caring for children. Some people are caring for aging parents. Some are living with roommates. Some are surrounded by circumstances that they did not choose. So I never want this message here to become, hey, just create a perfect environment. It's so easy. It'll change your life. Honestly, a perfect environment, it probably doesn't exist. And access absolutely matters. This is not about blame. All it is it's about awareness of whatever agency is realistically available to you, and the knowledge that you have this powerful lever that shapes so many things that are really important to us. You may not control your entire city, but perhaps you can influence your bedroom. You may not be able to control the culture at work, but perhaps you can protect your lunch break. You may not control everything that your family eats, but maybe you can prepare one meal that supports your goals. You may not be able to eliminate noise, but maybe you can create 10 quiet minutes somewhere in your day. You won't be able to change everyone around you, and nor should you, but maybe you can spend more time with one person who brings out the best in you. You don't need to purify the entire ocean overnight. Start with the water immediately surrounding you. One corner, one cue, one relationship, one default, one decision made easier. This is where I think the message becomes incredibly hopeful, because we spend so much of our time trying to fix ourselves. We call ourselves lazy, undisciplined, unmotivated, maybe weak. We think we need an entirely different personality to succeed. But maybe we don't need to rebuild our whole personality. Maybe we just need to redesign the conditions in which that personality is trying to function. A healthier kitchen changes what you eat. A supportive gym changes how often you train. A quiet bedroom changes how well you sleep. A healthier friend group changes what feels normal. And a curated digital feed changes what gets to enter your mind. A coach who believes in you can change what you believe about yourself. Sometimes changing the water allows the fish to do what it was capable of doing all along. And I think about this with our Sweat Circuit gym. Our members, they still have to show up. They still have to perform the reps. They still have to make choices outside of the studio. We can't do any of that work for them. But when we create an environment that makes effort feel meaningful, fun, exciting, when we create a place where people are greeted by name and with excitement and happiness, when we create a place where strength is absolutely celebrated and cheered on, a place where everybody gets modifications, it's normal. A place where an 80-year-old and then a beginner and then an experienced athlete can all work side by side and feel like they belong. A place where someone can arrive after a terrible day and leave feeling a little stronger and a little better mood than when they entered. That's more than just programming push-ups and squats and lunges. That's environment design. And when we build it well, that environment continues coaching people even when we aren't speaking directly to them. James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, we've all read it, has a line many of you have probably heard. Every action that you take is a vote for the type of person that you wish to become. I love that. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. Does one vote win an election? Does one bad vote mean that you're a bad person or that you're not going the right way? No, it's all the votes that matter. And I'll add this. Every environment that you choose casts thousands of votes on your behalf. So if every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become, and every environment you choose casts thousands of votes on your behalf, that's powerful. Your surroundings are voting. Your routines are voting. Your friends, your phone, your kitchen, your bedroom, your workplace, your gym, they are all voting. Now the question is, are those votes building the person that you want to become? Or are you spending every day trying to outvote your own environment? So here is your Mindset Monday challenge. I want you to conduct a simple water audit on your life. You don't need a spreadsheet. You don't need an app. Really, you can just write this in your phone or simply think about it during a walk. Ask yourself 3 questions. Number 1, first, what does my current environment make easy? Does it make scrolling easy, snacking easy, skipping workouts, or working late? Or does it make walking, sleeping, training, connecting, and eating well easier? What does my current environment make easy? Second, what does my environment make unnecessarily difficult? Maybe your workout requires too many decisions. Maybe there is nowhere peaceful in your house. Maybe your kitchen has no fast, nourishing options. Maybe your phone follows you into every moment of the day. Maybe the people around you make you feel guilty for wanting to grow. What does my environment make unnecessarily difficult? And third, what is one small change that I can make this week? Not 10, 1. What is one small change I can make this week? Move the phone charger out of your bedroom. Place your walking shoes beside the door when you have a workout. Prepare one emergency meal for the next few days. Unfollow one account that constantly makes you feel worse. Book one workout. Create one quiet corner. Invite one supportive person to join you. Remove one point of friction from a behavior you want more of. Add one point of friction to a behavior that you want less of. And that's it. Don't try to fix the entire ocean. Improve one small part of the water that's surrounding you right now. All week long, we're going to explore this idea through health, fitness, and wellness. On Training Tuesday, we'll talk about how your environment acts like an unseen coach and how to make movements the easier choice. On Wellness Wednesday, we're going to explore the fact that your nervous system lives somewhere. Light, noise, technology, relationships, and place all become biological signals. And on Fuel Up Friday, we'll walk into the kitchen and we will look at how your food environment begins making decisions before you do. Then on Self-Care Saturday, we're going to talk about how to build a life and environment you don't constantly need to escape from. But today, I only want you to begin noticing, because awareness comes before redesign. You cannot change water you have never learned to see. So, Dream Team, how's the water? How's the water? What have you been swimming in for so long that you stopped noticing it? What behaviors have you been calling personality traits that may actually just be adaptations to your surroundings? What might become easier if your environment began supporting you instead of constantly challenging you? You are responsible for your own life. You are the CEO of your own health. But you do not have to rely on willpower and discipline for every single decision. Shape what you can. Design better defaults. Choose your influences deliberately. Create spaces that remind you who you're trying to become. Because eventually, the water you design today will shape the person that you become tomorrow. So until next time, Dream Team, take a look around, pay attention, and ask yourself, how's the water? And as always, get stronger, live longer. And that's it, my friends. Thank you so much for joining me on this Mindset Monday episode of the Living the Dream podcast. Please share the knowledge that you gain with your friends and family and hold each other accountable. If this episode inspired you, please share it with a friend who could benefit from what we talked about. To support this podcast and help it grow, please subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to this podcast on and leave a review telling others how this podcast has benefited you. Leave a comment as well, letting us know how you're incorporating what you learned. This is a non-cost way to help get this important wellness content into more people's ears. Take a screenshot of this episode and tag me on your stories at livingthedream_podcast or at coachdamian_SD and let us know what you learned from this episode. Let us know what we missed. Let us know what we got wrong. We want to know. Message us if you have any suggestions or tips that would help your Living the Dream team that we can discuss in future episodes. I will be right here with you, working on making us stronger, happier, and healthier humans. Until next time, friends, keep living the dream.